All right, so I don't think I've done a stream. I don't know, maybe it was the beginning of the week, maybe it was this past weekend. I can't remember. I feel like a lot's happened in the last week or so, not just in the game in general, but um, with my roster and stuff. But anyway, the thing that kind of the community is all kind of talking about the last few days is this new event that they've got going on. And I don't really like it. I don't really mind that you have to spend cores to get the rewards. I don't really like it that it's an alliance participation and that it shows basically who's spending cores and who isn't. I don't know. To other alliances, maybe it's not a big deal, but mine's kind of a blend of a lot of different playing styles. There's some of these guys that are very free to play and really don't want to change up the way that they do things, which is perfectly fine. But even me, like if I'm going to whale and try to do this a little bit, I mean, I'm the kind of guy that right now I whaled and got Bishop and Iceman. I haven't even opened them up yet because I don't want the people in my alliance judging me for getting stuff early. So if I whale on a character, I always wait for the character to be released wide to kind of the whole, like the Blitz release when the second Blitz comes around. That's when I open it up. But anyway, not a big fan. I don't like that it's an alliance milestone. On an individual basis, I don't know. It's also going to be interesting. I didn't look at really to see what the offers came out today. They are coming up with like this, like I don't need them, but this 45 shards for 500, that's not really a very good value, but I feel like maybe that's 14s. I feel like maybe they'll have some interesting limited time offers that you can buy with cores. I don't know. I don't totally understand the objective of this event. I don't know, kind of rubs me the wrong way. If you look at, what was it? I mean, if you look at the number of points that you need to get to these milestones, I was trying to do the math yesterday, and uh, I didn't write it down, but I mean, 420,000 points. I think you'd have to spend like value-wise, if you used 75 cores or 750 cores for $10, that's 75 cores to $1. And I think 420,000 was like $5,600 worth of value or something like that based on that logic. And I think, if you have a 24 member alliance, it's like $230 worth of value per person that you'd have to contribute. Now I know that they changed some things up. They didn't lower this threshold for milestones, but I think they did on the individuals. Yeah, this used to go to 5,000. Now it only goes to 3,000. It looks like they took out all the. Oh no! Oh, and they moved the gear up. Oh, that's interesting. So yesterday there wasn't anything in these first 5 milestones. All that gear was like down here at the end, and it makes so much more sense now that they moved this up because now most kind of like mid to end game players can get a lot of this stuff in the Doom campaign nodes. So it's just really not as valuable as it used to be, and this seems a lot more balanced. This makes a lot more sense. I don't know why they didn't come to that realization on their own and had to kind of wait to make the community upset, although they fixed it awfully quick, so some of the time you have to wonder like how much of that's just a tactic, like screw it up and then convince you that they fixed it. I don't know, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. I mean, this event is what it is. I don't really expect my alliance to do all that well. I mean, we usually do pretty well. I'd be happy if we got to milestone 20. I want those micro dots. Probably more than anything else in here right now, other than these spectral analysis things. Those are pretty valuable, kind of hard to come by. The rest of the stuff I feel like comes up in stores pretty easily, but I feel like these seem to be extra rare. These seem to be extra rare. One of the mutant ones is. The Mystic seems pretty balanced to me, and the Tech seems pretty balanced to me, but there are definitely some things that I feel like don't come up as often. I don't really have any hard data on that. It's just kind of from my own experience. Anyway, so I don't know. We'll see what the Alliance does. I mean, we're all kind of relatively around the same level. So, I mean, I probably spend, I think I do all the daily refreshes up to 50s. So I think that's 300 cores. And then they're going to give me 100. So I'm going to be spending at least 400 a day. I do have some cores that I bought when I was trying to farm some characters last week. I did buy some Red Star orbs earlier with cores just to kind of get those milestones, even though I'm kind of against the event. I need to get Red Stars for Jubilee one way or another. I don't really care if my Alliance sees my core spending once it's all said and done. So yeah, I need to get some Red Stars on Jubilee. Maybe that's what I'll attempt tonight. I haven't really decided yet. But before I get into anything else, I need to do a blitz. So I think I only got 7 in yesterday. I screwed up, and I was pretty good going into this morning, and I was setting timers, but they weren't going off on my phone, and I think I missed one. I think I only got 7 in. So going to try to get 8 in today. Just for the hell of it. I haven't really gone all out, and I've already messed this one up a little bit, but can usually get in the 2 to 3% ranks these days. Kind of figured this out a little bit, or at least how it works best for my roster. I'll just go through these real quick. So this is a hybrid that I've been working with. It works pretty well, and it's just because of the way that I've kind of spent materials, and this one just works out really well. It's really well balanced. None of these look all that attractive. Actually, since I'm on the I'm on 8.2 at this point tier wise, so I'm gonna start. My bottom 3 teams right now are basically my DD3 teams. So this is my DD3 city that I just finished up Dark Dimension 3 with. Added Spider-Man on the last day. Kind of wish I would have used those resources on somebody else, but I don't really regret it that bad because I had all of his abilities maxed already. And because I took up Miss Marvel, I have 3 brawlers on that team. Just the mechanics of this team work really well. I'm kind of thinking a variant of this for Dark Dimension 4. I'll get to that more here in a little bit. But this team worked out pretty well for me. I don't remember how many days the last Ned took me, or how many attacks it took, but not that many. But I mean, that's Spider-Man. Symbiote Spider-Man was kind of carrying the show. So I don't have very good minion teams, so I just stick these DD3 teams that I try out, or I'm using, or whatever. My bottom 3 slots are with hybrid teams that basically I'm spending cores on. But just, I don't know, get better value out of that. They give you 500, you can have 500 cores in your inventory, so you might as well use them. So I've kind of figured out how to use that better to my advantage recently. I always knew about it, but I don't know. I just, for a long time, I just wasn't using cores at all, but now I kind of try to use them more strategically, and I think that's kind of what gets me up into the 2 to 3% rank instead of the 4 to 10. Then this is my DD3 Cosmic, or one of them. This one works really well too. Also thinking a variant of this for DD4 with Hela and Thor, but I'll get to that more, and Minerva, but I'll get to that more here in a little bit. I don't really love any of these matchups, so I don't think I'm going to do this one. I'm going to go to the top, just burn this. Oh, I'll have a better matchup now. So that's another thing that I do is I flip kind of back and forth um, to see what makes sense, and I have a pretty good success rate doing that. Probably about, I don't know, 80, 85, 90% probably, especially in the higher power levels. Guess this one. So this one right here is my ideal DD4 Cosmic team right now. I'm going through the second wave of Dark Dimension 3 right now. The reward through that is a 5 red star Ultimus, so putting that on this team would be pretty ridiculous. Longshot and Shatterstar are pretty good. Very close to taking them up to Gear Tier 13. Kind of got a little bit of a bottleneck with gold. And since they're cosmic and not in the global nodes, either for DD3 or DD4, I'm going to try to get up to DD4 in the next month or so. So these guys aren't my primary focus, but they're very near the top. I like them a lot. I think they work well in this hybrid team. And when I'm thinking about using silver promotion credits to take Longshot to 5 red stars, and when I get that 5th red star on Ultimus, I think this team's going to be pretty crazy. So I'm pretty excited about this team, actually. I don't think I'm probably my first run through Dark Dimension 4. Again, I'll get to this more here in a couple minutes, but I don't think it'll probably include Ultimus and Captain Marvel for the first wave, but trying to get the other 3 in there. Black Order. I haven't really focused on Black Order the way a lot of the community has. That's fine. They're going to sell us plenty of ways to beat them. I mean, they kind of already probably have. I think Astonishing X-Men is supposed to be a decent counter for them. So is the Shadowland team that's coming out, which I'm actually kind of excited about. Just because I want something else in City besides symbiotes, so I don't have to use all the bio gear just on symbiotes. So again, I'll get to this more here in a minute, but I am tentatively, still really far off, but I'm kind of factoring the Shadowland characters into, or at least the older ones, into my Dark Dimension 4 plan / long-term plan. These 3 pretty much win against whatever I go against. And then my Avengers have been a major focal point for me the last probably since the beginning of the year. I was working on Iron Man and the tech stuff for the Doom campaign, kind of at the end of last year, the beginning of this year. I can't really remember. So I had been focused on him, and Thor was Dark Dimension 3, came up with Hela. I've had good red stars on Cap. It just kind of made sense. I just got 6 red stars on Black Widow. Pulled that and upgraded her from a 4 red star. Pulled that a week or so ago, and that I was kind of already thinking about taking her up anyway. And when that happened, I was like, okay, this is my strategy. So again, I'll get to that more here in a minute. But this team's pretty strong for me as well. Can't take everything. Still kind of have to pick your punches, but pretty effective. Symbiotes, pretty good, pretty even, so it works pretty well. And a strong symbiote Spider-Man. Guess this will win. Yeah, definitely won. This is pretty good. I just, with my rewards from Dark Dimension 3, one of my upgrades was getting Strife up to 4 red stars. I haven't really experimented with it a ton since then, but I just know that he was kind of the weak point of this team. I think, at least early on, maybe it was because Strife was the first one, other than Mystique, well, other than the Brotherhood characters, the first to come out. And so, I guess people had red stars on him from early. I think there's one guy in my alliance that pulled a 7 red star on him, and just from the very beginning, Marauders were just kind of destined for him. But anyway, I think the better teams, at least early on, had really good Strifes, and obviously now if you've got a good Sinister and Emma, both which are characters that I'm considering for Dark Dimension 4, they're the heavy hitters now. But Strife was definitely pulling down this team, and that was the right decision, I think, based on what I'm trying to do. Especially if I'm going to focus on Emma and Sinister, I really need to kind of pull up Strife also. Another way I spent silver promotion credits from DD3, I got a 5th red star on Doc Ock. I don't really like Sinister 6 all that much. I did, use the originals to get Invisible Woman. So my original Sinister 6 is actually better than this grouping, but I'm working on all these characters right now. I've been spending my arena credits on Swarm. I've been spending my raid credits. Is it raid? No, it's Blitz. Is it Blitz? Yeah, Blitz on Electro. Blitz? Whatever. Blitz or raid. I'm blanking. Anyway, working on those 2 characters that I didn't really get very many stars on when they were introduced, kind of intentionally. And, I haven't really loved... I haven't really used X-Force all that much, so this is probably as good as my Doc Ock's going to get for a little while. Eventually I'll have to focus on him, but he's just down the road for me. He's going to be in the legendaries for Dark Dimension 4, so I've got plenty of time to kind of progress him up naturally. I don't have to do anything crazy with him, but this team will win against most matchups. It's a pretty good team, and it's pretty well balanced at this point. Don't love it, but this is probably the easiest one. Yeah, so that was no problem. That was a 100k punch up right there. So yeah, definitely a good team. I'm just not sure that it's going to be in my... Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'll have the credits to get Swarm and Electro up fairly quickly now that they're in a store. So I don't know. This could maybe be a focus for me instead of... I don't know, there's so many teams to focus on, but I've kind of fallen off of Brotherhood. I never really had a very good Blob or Toad, so I never used Brotherhood 2.0. And the rest moved over to Marauders, and I don't have Blob up to 7 stars yet, and I don't have a very good Toad either. So, maybe this becomes my primary kind of like villain team. Kind of been doing mutant villains though, but probably need to diversify a little bit. I don't love any of the tech characters, and I haven't really played with Dr. Octopus a ton, so maybe he's going to turn into one I like, but he only has 5 gear tier 15 nodes, so he's relatively cheap in terms of getting him up to gear tier 15, so especially since my strategy doesn't really include a lot of tech, at least right now doesn't include a lot of tech, so I think he's just going to make sense for me. So yeah, my Blob's not even up to 7 stars yet. I don't really have very good red stars in this team to begin with, other than Magneto. I've already constructed Magneto's helmet for Gear 15. I'm not using any of the unique pieces on him, but, well, I mean, his helmet is unique, but you know what I mean. But, yeah, I have a ton of palladium, so I just decided that I'd build it already. The only other person with palladium that I'm really considering right now is Daredevil, and that's probably who's going to get the rest of it. I think I've got plenty. This is another team that I was focused on with the Jubilee event. They kind of recommended higher levels with the 5th section of the Legendary event, because I think they didn't want people to just get the stars on these characters and not level them up. For me, it kind of makes sense because I'm always going to be interested in Dark Dimension. For a really, really long term picture, these guys are definitely in there, but they use quantum energy. At least Ghost and Ant-Man do, and I'd rather use my quantum energy on Black Bolt. And then Yellow Jacket uses Gravitonium. Longshot and Shatterstar use Gravitonium. I plan to go that way. And then also I think Moon Knight's going to be using Gravitonium when he gets introduced. So, I'm kind of trying to have no more than 3 characters per unique material. So these guys don't really probably factor into my immediate plan. I think the carbon or whatever material that Wasp takes, I think I've got a lot of that. I think I'm going to use that on Elektra. I can't remember what Stature takes, but yeah, I mean this would be maybe a focus down the road, but not really right now. Probably not until they remove the unique bottleneck, which maybe is coming. Could be kind of the next progression of the Doom campaign nodes, I think. Just removing one of the bottlenecks of the game. Anytime those offers have been coming up to buy the orange uniques, I've been buying those just to kind of control my own destiny. They aren't a hell of a lot cheaper than what they are any other time, but the limited offers do have a little bit of a discount. I think you get them for basically a third off, so I usually take advantage of those. I just bought the Aluminium or whatever it's called for Jubilee, but I really plan to use it either for Crystal or Beast. I'm still kind of trying to decide what my strategy is there. I was thinking about taking Beast up to 14 and using them in DD3, kind of seeing how the true Uncanny X-Men are. I need to do the same for Cyclops, but I might conserve my resources, especially since I'm not really sure what my mutant strategy for Dark Dimension 4 is yet. So I've definitely been thinking about my strategy a lot more this week since I just finished Dark Dimension 3. I'm kind of closer, probably still probably 3 or 4 weeks away, probably from being legitimately ready to enter. But yeah, been giving it a lot more thought lately, and I think I've got a plan. Again, I'll get to that here more in a minute.
People commit suicide. They don't have where they vent themselves. You will have somebody, if you do something wrong, they say, this thing you're doing is not good. You must listen to people. That's how life works.
I guess that was a pretty big punch up. My young Avengers are kind of crap anyway. I haven't done anything to Squirrel Girl or America. I just recently moved Ms. Marvel to this team, so it's been working a little bit better. I think I used to have Spider-Man in her place or something, and it wins a little bit more. I had got my Quake high enough that I could kind of swap her on my Inhumans. I've been using Ms. Marvel for a long time. I really like Ms. Marvel. She's a good utility character. Works, well with any of the hero brawlers, which I tend to like those characters. So she's still in my long-term plan, even though I'm kind of more focused on Widow with the shield tech. That was too much of a punch up. It was an interesting team, too.
I could feel the difference, this shit look the same. Depending on your instrument. Hey, we might have to switch the frame. I just hit my target.
So I recently moved, within the last week or so, moved Namor to this team. Kind of hadn't really found the right spot for him, especially since his power level is so high, and this just works better. I have gotten an additional red star, I think, on Groot. I pulled a red star, an additional red star in him recently. Actually, this team's got pretty good red stars. I didn't really notice that, but yeah, this team works more than the regular Guardians. Let's see if I'm eating those words. Oh, I don't like any of these matchups. Never mind. This is I don't really like the skill military team that much. I just really wasn't that interested in Yelena. Not interested in any minions, so I wasn't going to do anything with Merc Soldier. But I do like Red Guardian. You know, that taunt on spawn is a good feature. And then I've liked Daredevil and Punisher since the beginning. I got max abilities on them both, and 6 red stars on Daredevil, so I'm going to be focusing on that duo, I think, for a while, especially since Punisher now has the skill military team. And I liked the Shadowland news because Night Nurse and Elektra were 2 characters that I had leveled up, because for a while I was kind of leveling up anybody that got the max stars to level 70, and Elektra was one that I kind of broke that trend on. But I have had increased focus on these 2 characters pretty much the second part of this week, so I guess like the last 3 or 4 days have, I think, bumped each of Night Nurse and Elektra up a gear tier. And actually, I'm thinking about both of them maybe for Dark Dimension 4. I think it would work out well for me in terms of the gear that I have and their costs not being that high. Again, I'll look at that more here again in a second. But this is working out as a pretty good blitz team for me. So, I mean, as long as you're not punching across too high, that was probably a pretty good use. And it's kind of surprising that Red Guardian, I think it was Red Guardian and Elektra were the 2 that were still alive. So that's kind of an interesting way that played out. Let's see if I like this matchup better. No, that was too much of a punch up. Crap. Wasn't paying attention. This one's just kind of a placeholder. Crap. That was dumb. As 9 dropped down a tier. So I really need to. These are where my teams kind of get a little sketchy. Kind of have to pick the right matchup. I don't know about this one, but not too bad. This one I don't really know what to do here. I'm just trying to use my mercs a little bit better. I think I've got Bullseye, but I don't know. I was trying to do half mercs, half skill military. That's the only reason that I think I went with Merc Soldier there over Bullseye, just to have a little bit more synergy. I think maybe this wins probably maybe half the time. It's not going to win on any of these matchups. And then I don't really know what to do with my Kree. I don't know if this would be a better team if I took Ronan off of this and used another minion. Some of the time that team wins. But I don't really want to focus on minions, so this is kind of just a way to get another win every once in a while. This I should probably move. I kind of have them ordered like basically how easily I think I'm going to win with them, and this one probably needs to move up just a little bit, even though I don't really focus on it. This will win. Big time. Oh. I think that would have won if I had played it out. And then this one's just leftovers. I don't really know what to do here. I know people like Loki. Maybe it's just because he's frustrating to go against, kind of in the same way Zemo is. I just don't really want to focus on those characters that piss people off. So, I don't know. Loki's effective. I just... Asgardians have really kind of fallen off, basically in War and Blitz a little bit. So I'm just not using them as much. I used them on War Defense for a long time. I recently got Sif up to 7 stars. That maybe would help, but I don't really want to go back that way right now. I don't really feel good about that one either. I'm just going to let this sit, I think. So, that wasn't too bad. At 8.4 million, 8.5 million already, it's pretty good. Basically, I'm assuming this is something that I can do. I think I've been shooting for about 1 million every rotation or whatever. So that's about 8 million a day. So this was my first. I think it was my first. Maybe it was my second for today. Again, I was trying to do 8 a day, and I messed it up already on day 1. I don't know. Kind of sucks because it's on Bishop, but I think if I get 24 million, I think that's good enough for 2 to 3% rewards. If it is, I'm going to be just outside, and even though I kind of wailed on him, I didn't get enough. So I mean, even if I'd get the 2 to 3% rank on Blitz, that would be another 76 shards of Blitz times 2 is what? Like 152, 160 plus 165. I think that's. What is that? Hold on a second. Oh no, I already got the free shards out of from this Blitz already. So it's not 152. Be 152 minus 21. It's 131 plus 165. It's 296. I need 310 to get them up to 5 stars and maximize that 5 red stars that I've got on them. So, yes, I'm probably going to have to buy some kind of orb offer to get those 14 shards anyway. So if I only get the 4 to 10% rank on this Blitz and only get the 45 shards, it won't be the end of the world. That would mean that I had to get 24 shards instead of 14, and that's still doable at a pretty decent price considering that I've already spent money on them. But kind of wanted to go over my Dark Dimension 4 strategy real quick. I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about it a lot for the last 3 months, but it's starting to come into focus, and I think I've got a pretty clear plan at this point. So I know a lot of people, obviously we'll have a 16 player strategy for Dark Dimension 4 because you need a minimum of, or you really need 4 characters per node. I don't know if it's a minimum technically, but you pretty much have to have 4 characters. I don't think you can really do it with less, or at least it's not smart to do it with less. But anyway, I'm not really doing the 16 character strategy. I think I've worked out a way that I can do 18 and be pretty happy about it. So for global, I'm going to do, I think, Wave 1 Avengers plus Iron Man. I'm not sure, not Iron Man, War Machine. I'm not really sure if War Machine's going to work out. I'm not really sure if I'm going to need them. But anyway, I think just with the red stars on this team, it just kind of makes sense. I know a lot of people. It seems like the Whales are doing their first five. It's a lot of people doing Symbiote Spider-Man, Thanos, Ghost, Mr. Sinister, and Zemo was very, very popular, and I don't have the star level on those characters to do that. So I'm kind of just doing what makes sense for my roster. I've thought a lot about it, and I think this just kind of makes the most sense. I'm really looking for synergy. So I think that, I think Widow, Thor, and Captain America are probably going to be my first three. And Thor, I think, just makes sense for what I'm trying to do. But anyway, Widow's really cheap. The only bottleneck for me on that's going to be Shield Tech. I might just end up buying the Shield Tech if I can't get it very quickly. It's been really stingy. I've been looking for it for the last couple days, kind of waiting for it to come up naturally in the stores, and it hasn't been coming up. But I only need one more to get her to Gear Tier 14, and all I'm wanting is one, and I feel like they're waiting for me to buy it or something. It's like, I'm not going to do that yet. Thor, I just put a 5th red star on him. I just like the duo of Thor and Hela. And kind of what I'm going to do long term is kind of pick a premier character as either a milestone or a legendary, and then kind of do more. Instead of a wide roster, I'm going to kind of do a siloed roster long term. So, Hela and Thor, I'm going to keep them together. And then, so Widow's cheap. She only has 2 Gear 15 nodes on her, so a total of the they would call that, what do they call it? I guess that would be an 1818 or whatever. I guess some people call it, but yeah, there are only 2 nodes of her 6 that need Gear Tier 15 pieces. So she's really cheap. Captain America's pretty cheap too, and just since I have the 5 red stars, I think I'm just going to try to do Wave 1 Avengers. I just think it makes sense. So what I'm going to do is start with the 4 non-legendary Wave 1 Avengers, I think. It's still not completely sold on Hawkeye just because of the adamantium. There's an outside chance that I'd go with Ultron over basically Hawkeye and War Machine. But I think maybe that would slow me down a little bit too much when I got the Cosmic. So I don't know. And then, so if I use Thor, I can only use him for the first 3 nodes of Dark Dimension 4, but kind of get a lot of bang out of my buck that way. I get the synergy for the first 3 on the Avengers. And then, then maybe I'd bring in War Machine is my 4 and try to do global with 4. And then I probably wouldn't get through with those 4, so I'd probably then do, maybe I'd do Ghost instead of War Machine. Maybe I'd do Emma Frost. Maybe I'd do Sinister. That War Machine slot's kind of still open, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about at this point. For Cosmic, can ignore Black Bolt and Ebony Maw, but there's where Thor kind of comes back into the picture. Hela is really expensive. She requires 5 Gear Tier 15 nodes, so again, she's really expensive. But I think since I did Thor already, makes sense to have that duo. And then I really like Shatterstar and Longshot, so I'm going to try to do both of them. That's why I'm kind of waiting and not doing a mutant for global right away. So that I can do both of those. Again, both of them use Gravitonium, so it's going to be a little bit of a stretch. I don't think I have enough to get one up. Yeah, I have enough to get one up to 13 and one up to one up to 14 and one up to 15. But I'm still shopping for Gravitonium, kind of in the near future. But I'd like to take both these guys up. I just put a 5th red star on Shatterstar with my DD3 silver promotion credits. And I'm kind of waiting for a Longshot to come up in the store. I think I've seen them before, but I'm entirely sure he's available in the Elite store yet, but that's how I'm looking to spend. Actually, I don't even have enough for a 5 red star right now, but that's what I'm looking to spend my next one on. And then Minerva. Minerva might be my first tech character, depending on how Global goes. If I don't use Ultron or Ghost or War Machine. But ultimately, I want her. She's my only real lock, I guess. Well, I mean Thor, because I would already have him, but Minerva's really my only lock for Cosmic at this point. And I think people are struggling with it a little bit because obviously the people that are taking Thanos up have 6 or 7 red stars on him. He's got a ton of health. But Thanos is really only kind of good with other Black Order, either Ebony Maw or a full Black Order. And that's why I didn't really focus on them, because they don't have synergy with anybody else. Thanos does help, I think, Cosmic adjacent characters on his squad. So he's got a little bit of added value that way. But I don't know. I didn't focus on Black Order the way people did. I don't have any T4s on any of them, although I was thinking about putting on this special for Ebony Maw. Getting that defense up for another turn, I think, would help my arena defense, but I actually haven't really needed the help. Recently got above 250 again earlier this week, and kind of been holding steady there. I got up to 187 was where my all-time high that I hit yesterday, which was pretty good. I hadn't really been around 250 for a couple weeks. I had used all the military characters and all that armory stuff from a week or so ago, and I wasn't focused on arena, and I dropped pretty far in rank, almost outside of 500, and kind of had to work my way back up. But now that I'm back up there, what I've got seems to be holding steady on defense. And I don't think I changed anything. I don't really know why this is holding better than it was for me last time. I'm not really sure. Actually, I think I did put, with my rewards from Dark Dimension 3, I think maybe I did complete a couple more nodes on Maw, but maybe only 1 or 2, so not a ton. So, I don't know. This team holds up really well. It's just basically a variant of my offense, which I still get a lot of mileage out of Ultron. And for a while, I was thinking about not really saying screw Dark Dimension 4, but going for kind of my legendary characters first. Phoenix, if I were to bring her up to gear tier 15, which I thought about, I only would have to get some X genes, I think, in order to do it. I'd be really close, since I've got 6 red stars on her, and she would help with my second pass through Dark Dimension 3. I thought about that, kind of doing these first 3 with Phoenix, Ultron, and Black Bolt. I feel like if I took them to gear tier 15, but the 3 of them together with a 6 red star Crystal and a 5 red star Yo-Yo, I just think that would be a really good arena team that would scale really well. So yeah, Ultron being in the mix is still something that I'm considering for DD4 Global. Maybe even if it doesn't make the most sense. But we'll see exactly how hard those missions are. From what I've heard, is it's kind of doable with whatever team you take up, as long as there's some control. So putting negative markers on your enemies is pretty favorable. It seems like in Dark Dimension 4. So I don't know. I mean, that's another reason why I'm thinking Avengers, because I've got 2 controllers, and I think 2 controllers, and Widow and Widow's a controller, is Hawkeye a controller. Yeah. So yeah, I think between the 2 of them, and then especially if I put the T4 on Hawkeye, and then basically because of the striker skirmisher mechanics on those two characters, basically every time one of them goes, the other one's going to go, and then when it works for Black Widow, she'd actually get then the third hit. I think maybe I'll do that in real-time arena here in a minute and just show you what I'm talking about if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, back to and then so that I showed you my cosmic strategy, and then for city, I'm thinking, and this is kind of really tentative. I don't really know what could end up happening here, but ignore Doc. He's Doc Ock would be the legendary, probably that I'd use from city. But I've leveled up Daredevil and Punisher. They might have actually been two of the first 3 characters that I had. I can't remember exactly how all that happened, but I think Daredevil was one of the first characters I had. Maybe Punisher was soon after that. But kind of just early, long-time player, working on those defenders for a long time, and then kind of with Punisher not being a true defender and that duo, I've just gotten a lot of mileage out of it, and now that they both kind of have increased importance, both on Shadowland and on the skilled military team, I think they're probably going to be 2 that I continue to focus on. And then I just need some diversification because I don't think I can do all symbiotes. I think that just requires too much patience, too much bio gear, too much alien spores. I'm kind of trying to do the most efficient, cost-effective thing, and Night Nurse and Elektra both would only take 3 G15 nodes. And then Night Nurse would definitely be my 5th. I think the way that I'm doing it, the only other place I would have used skill gear would have been in Global, and I would have only used 5 of them between Widow and Hawkeye. So, I'm not going to be at a shortage for skill gear, I don't think. So I'm basically just trying to look for another way to use skill gear, but I could also use it on Fury in the legendary section. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing there yet, but kind of excited for this Shadowland team. Again, I had focused on Night Nurse and Elektra. As a longtime player, they were kind of a focus for me at one point. And so I think I'm going to revisit them. I think it'll make sense because of the materials that I have. I think I have a ton, or not a ton, but I think I have enough orange Oz formula. And I know I have a ton of what Elektra needs. I haven't used that on anybody to take them to Gear Tier 13, so I think it's just going to make sense for the materials that I have. And I pulled 5 red stars on Night Nurse, so I really expect Spider-Man to kind of carry this team anyway. That's kind of the way Dark Dimension 3's gone for me a little bit. Maybe there's an outside chance that I go for Anti-Venom instead of Daredevil. They both would have the same cost. But I think just because of the scarcity of alien spores, I'm probably going to go with Daredevil and then kind of build the team around them. But I know that I definitely want Symbiote Spider-Man in there, so he's kind of my only lock, really, of those top 5 for City that I'm really considering. So we'll see what happens. And then for a Legendary, I'm actually probably going to take more than 4. After I get those 4, I'm going to probably keep going and do a 5th and a 6th maybe, just to see what combination works the best in Dark Dimension 4. But these are the ones that I'm thinking about. Phoenix and Black Bolt, I pulled really good red stars on them early, and I think I added a 6 red star to both of them. And I just love those characters. I use them in Arena, still on offense and defense. And again, I was thinking about maybe ignoring Dark Dimension 4 for the time being and trying to get a better Arena team. But I'm back in the top 250, which is improvement. So we'll see how long that holds. But Ebony Maw is pretty, I've been using him on defense. That's kind of the whole reason that I leveled him up, even though I'm not really focused on Black Order. And I think if I would use this Special ability upgrade. I think he'd be even better in arena defense, and I'm probably going to take him up to gear tier 14 just to use in Dark Dimension 3, even though I don't really need another one. I just don't think it'll be wasted on him, but haven't really been focused on many of the other Black Order. I don't really think that I'm going to focus on them really long term, other than Thanos. So again, I'm trying to do kind of like the legendary, like the premier or the legendary, and then like kind of like a mafia hierarchy, and then like the capo or the underboss or whoever's under my legendary characters. So I'd focus on Maw and Thanos, and then kind of ignore the other three. That's only going to work for so long, but I think that's what I'm going to kind of do here in the near term. Like, I've been spending probably a little bit too much money on the game recently, and I kind of want to scale that back, especially in terms of character shards. I probably don't have to do character shards as hard anymore, just being able to get some out of Blitz, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I plan to focus on him just kind of for use in arena more than anything else. So that's kind of my strategy that I'm working with right now. Again, 18 character strategy, 18 toon strategy instead of 16. Kind of getting double use out of Thor, both in the first 3 nodes and then coming back around on the cosmic nodes. So yeah, wave 1 Avengers in the global wave, maybe adding War Machine, just because I also have a lot of his hammer tech. I can pretty much get him up to gear tier 15 probably pretty easily. Haven't really spent that anywhere else. The only character that I have that would take it would be Pyro. I'm not going to take Pyro up, even though actually I think he's a decent character. I kind of like that old Brotherhood team. I think I'm probably going to get back to that at some point. But yeah, kind of been focused more on Marauders lately. I actually haven't really even focused on Brotherhood 2.0 at all. My blob's not at 7 stars yet, and my Toad's still pretty low. But yeah, and then for Cosmic, kind of doing Asgardian royalty and Thor and Hela, mixed with Minerva and Longshot and Shatterstar, which would be pretty crazy. I just think that would work out really well, and then there'd be an outside chance that I would kind of ignore Thor, go Ultimus instead of Hela, and probably do Captain America. I mean, so maybe I do my my 2 extra characters in Cosmic rather than in 1 in Global and 1 in City. But I think I'm going to do 18 somewhere or another. I've just looked at a couple different scenarios. I think I'm going to do 18 characters instead of 16. I think that's pretty reasonable, and I still think that's pretty efficient. And then City, Symbiote Spider-Man is pretty much my lock for DD4 City, and then I'm kind of thinking Punisher just because he's cheap, and then kind of the start of Shadowland. So Shadowlands looks like it'd be good against Marauders. It's kind of a war team. But it looks like it'd be good against Marauders, so that would work well since I already got a good Punisher and Daredevil. Oh no, I guess Punisher's not in there, but anyway, Moon Knight and White Tiger still have to come out yet, and I was looking at their stuff earlier today. Moon Knight is Gravitonium, which with a Longshot and Shatterstar would be kind of tough. That would be 3 Gravitonium characters, so that's probably a long shot. He does have 4 gear tier 15 nodes, so he's kind of mid-range expensive-wise. The one that would really be nice, just because I haven't used any of the Chi or whatever that Iron Fist uses, that's what White Tiger is going to use, but she requires 5 gear tier 15 pieces, so she's really expensive. But I was looking at her kit when one of the envoys was kind of reading through it. It was either, I don't even remember who it was. Probably Valley. I think it was Valley flying. was reading through it, and her kid sounds pretty good, and she'll probably, if I had to guess, be an event character. So I'll probably be able to get her up to four stars pretty easily. So again, I think that Shadowland team will be pretty interesting long term. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But at some point, I'm going to have to pick some stuff to ignore. I don't really know where I'd go yet, because you kind of need the wide roster to get all the legendaries, but there's an outside chance that I'll just kind of ignore Doc Ock, even though I don't really see that happening. The titanium that Doc uses is just tough, because I like a bunch of characters that use that. Yo-Yo and Colossus use that. And I'd like to get them up to Gear Tier 15 relatively early. They'll probably be like my second or third equivalent of Dark Dimension. Well, that would be probably my second pass through Dark Dimension 4. I would probably get those guys. And then there's an outside chance that I'm liking Red Guardian. I've got 5 red stars on him right now. He would maybe be a second pass through, and he uses titanium. So titanium's kind of a tough material. So is the Ballistic Weave, which is why I don't even think that I have anybody with Ballistic Weave in this mix. Which, if that happened that way, then that would be what I would be spending on characters my second time through. So Frost, Sinister, Karnak, Thing. I'd like to have all 4 of those, honestly, at the next level, because of the way that I've built some teams. So I don't know, that one's probably the most difficult material for me. So I don't know. That's what this is my 18-man Dark Dimension 4 strategy at the moment. Changes all the time. Wasn't like this yesterday. But I spent a lot of time thinking about it today. Didn't really have a whole lot going on at work this morning, and was messing around with my spreadsheets, and this is the fewest number of characters that I've kind of gotten my strategy down to yet. So this is pretty promising. You need at least 16, and I got it down to 18. I think that's a pretty good strategy. We'll see how it goes from here. Real-Time Arena just started today. I thought really, since that there was a week off, that maybe they would make some changes. I'm not really that irritated with this whole process. I don't really mind RTA. I try to blow through it as efficiently as possible. So that's kind of a fun challenge that I don't think a lot of people are embracing. I think people wanted this mode to be more about knockouts, and I think it's more kind of about strategy and using your team and using your roster efficiently. Like, I feel like they kind of built this to promote hybrid teams, I think, is what RTA is meant for. Just the way that all the objectives are formulated. I think I'll show you what I mean, but you can knock this stuff out efficiently if you know what you're doing and you're trying. But yeah, I thought that maybe they would make some changes, because I know that there's a large portion of the community that doesn't really love this game mode. I don't think they made any changes. They did just start this today. I didn't really read the whole thing. It doesn't really look like the rewards changed, which, again, I don't really have a problem with the rewards. I do the battle pass. I just do the regular one. I don't do the premium one. Or no, I guess I do the premium one, but I don't do it where you buy the 30 level head start or whatever. And, it's $20. The rewards are pretty good. I mean, if it was offered in the store and it was just those rewards for $20, I would buy them, because the rewards are good. Especially if you're trying for Dark Dimension 4 and you want those Gear Tier 15 pieces. You're probably going to be buying this anyway. So I buy it anyway. It's not my favorite game mode. I definitely love Sim Blitz is my favorite. But I don't really mind RTA. But anyway, let's just kind of dig in and see what the objectives are. So Inhumans, that's going to be fun. So I'm just going to work on these knockouts, or on my daily objectives real quick. I'm not going to use Domino and Vulture. That's the other thing. Like, you don't need to get every objective on here, and I don't think people realize that or really think about it. Like, if I'm doing this pretty consistently, I'm going to finish RTA in about 3 weeks and probably not do anything really other than these daily objectives to get the ions any of the other days. So you don't have to go all out on this, all the time. Like, I don't think you really need to spend more than 20 or 30 minutes here a day. So anyway, we'll do Inhumans. Just do all Inhumans. Just get this right off the bat. Why did that not pick the order that I wanted? I know people don't love the matchmaking. I think the matchmaking's fine as long as you're not using extreme teams, if that makes any sense. Oh, so this will be interesting. This is gonna be tough. I don't think I'm gonna win this, but we'll see how it plays out. I've obviously never really fought this combination before, so... I think Crystal is one of the most underrated raiders in the game. I have her at 6 red stars, so I've obviously used her a lot more. That wasn't a very smart decision. This isn't working well. Yeah, she's underrated raider. Not really taking a lot of damage either. Except for Yo-Yo. I don't know, I probably could have done better on this one if I thought it out a little bit better. That's why I don't really like showing my gameplay. I'm thinking about 2 things at once. I'm just throwing it on auto, this doesn't matter. So I mean, the thing here is I probably used a decent amount of abilities on my Inhumans, and I'm getting credit for it, even though I didn't get any knockouts. So this is why I don't really mind the changes that they made. I think that they could probably still offer like some nominal amount for a win. Like, I'm just saying like 1,000 gold or something super small that you get. I think people would use this a lot more. I think the matchmaking would be that much better because you would have that many more people using it. I still hope that they make some changes to this game mode. It's not perfect, but I kind of think that the changes to the objectives. So I mean, I guess I only got 8 there. That wasn't really as good as I thought it was. Yeah, but so I view the challenge of, okay, how quickly and efficiently can I get through my objectives? And I think there's a subsect of people that are only really interested in knockouts. So I still think they have some fine-tuning to do with this game mode, but I think it should have been a lot more polished before they released it. There are some things coming. It does say leagues are coming soon. I think that could be exciting. Maybe that's the missing ingredient and the thing that makes it interesting. And that draws more people to the game mode and gets better matching. Because if I had to guess, one of the problems with the matchmaking is they probably don't have the volume of people that they thought they'd be getting. But I hope they grow into the process. So I actually didn't look to see. I don't think the rewards changed all that much. really, from last time. It didn't really sound like they changed it at all. Just sounded like that it was a new character in Beast, which doesn't really do anything for me because I just got him up to 5 stars. I think I pulled him out of like a Ultimus Orb or a Mega Orb or something. I think I got the last few that I needed or something. So I don't really need these. That said, if I get all 100, then I'm only 100 from getting them to 6 stars. If I really wanted to wail on them, I could spend then $60 and get them up to 6 stars. So I don't know. I'm probably still going to do the Battle Pass, just for the Gear 15s alone. So it looks pretty normal. Don't need these like I used to. I just got my DD3 rewards. Got pretty good on these, but I didn't get a lot of the like the other, I don't know what to call it, like the other branch, the left side of the unique branch. I didn't get a lot of those pieces, both with Bio and Mutant, which I really needed. So my rewards for Dark Dimension 3 were pretty good all around. I mean, obviously it's a lot of material one way or the other, but there were a couple key areas that missed for me. Not that I'm angry about or anything. There was just, I could have gotten more favorable drop. But a lot of that's probably by design too. I mean, they're not going to give you everything that you need to go from Dark Dimension 3 to Dark Dimension 4. I don't know why I kind of had in my brain that it would be that good, but maybe it is for some people. It didn't work out that way for me. Although, I'm not in a bad position, so I don't know, we'll see. So here, I'm trying to look for where it starts to get good, probably in the second half. So here we start getting a lot more gold gear. These are always valuable. Well, that's a gear tier 15. All that's valuable. So again, this top layer is why I think it's worth buying the Battle Pass. And even if this isn't the most fun game mode or whatever, I want the rewards that are in here, so I'm gonna do it. Whatever I gotta do. So yeah, I mean, these look pretty much like the rewards from last month, but with Beast instead. I'd really like it if they put some gold in here. I know that a lot of like later game players, not me, but a lot of people are short on training materials. I don't think I'm ever going to be short on training materials, but all these G15 pieces, this last 15 levels is worth doing if you're that far along in the game, I think. So I'm just kind of sucking it up and doing what I gotta do. I do want to do, well, I don't have the T4 on there, but I wanted to show you what would happen. I think I can do it still on Widow. Show you what I was talking about, where if you set Widow up with Striker and Hawkeye up with Skirmisher, when she goes, because of the way the ISO works, she's going to go oh no, I don't have it set up on Hawkeye, so it's not going to work that way. Shit, can't show this off. I think if I had the T4 on Hawkeye's passive, if I used, well, let's just see what happens when I do with Black Widow. I didn't look to see how strong this team was. So I got the assist with Hawkeye, but I think that you can do some weird stuff and basically get triple hits. But I don't have the T4 on Hawkeye's passive yet, so it's not going to work. I just wanted to see how this team is holding up, since it's kind of a large portion of it's what I'm thinking about for DD4. I'm telling you, Hawkeye is kind of underrated too. Yeah, not too bad. I like the Avengers, man. I guess that wasn't much of a fight. Yeah, still you didn't get any knockouts, whatever. So can't show what I was. So I mean that was pretty efficient. Can't show what I wanted to with the mechanic with Hawk. Actually, I probably could. Yeah, I could just do it now. I'm gonna do it now. Now I'm gonna go see if that worked. So now I think because I have Striker on Widow and Skirmisher on Hawkeye. How is it that when Hawkeye goes, he's gonna put the vulnerable on somebody, and when Widow assists, she's gonna hit that vulnerable, and then since she's a striker, it's gonna trigger her bonus attack. So every time Hawkeye goes, it's actually gonna be 3 attacks. I think. We'll find out. And then another T4 that probably my next one will be the one where when you use Cap's shield throw that you get a lot more speed. So what do I want to do here? Did Hawkeye assist there? I wasn't paying attention. That wasn't very good. I was not paying attention to even the makeup of this team. This is a pretty good team, actually. We're not going to win this. Got Emma Frost and Maw and Thanos. I was focused more on Punisher and Daredevil. I think that was wasted hitting Ebony Maw. I think his immunity is just too high, or resistance is too high. Just trying to take out Punisher. I just want one knockout here. And I wasn't paying attention. Did I even get a turn with Hawkeye? Yeah, I guess I got but I didn't get a. I don't know. I didn't see what I wanted to see there with Widow and Hawkeye. But I also wasn't really paying attention. This wasn't a good matchup to test it out on. I need something that's a little bit more even. God damn. I wasn't paying attention that he had blind. This was not a good fight. Wasn't paying attention enough. That was a pretty that was a big mismatch anyway. I think that's the strongest team that I think I've ever seen, or that I've ever faced. Taking a screenshot of that one. Yeah, I wasn't gonna win that, no matter who I was bringing. I don't think I had a team strong enough to beat that, to be honest. Not that team makeup, anyway. Let's see if we get a better matchup. I was not paying attention to that one at all. So I was talking about the matchups being better, but I don't know if that's the case. This one's a little bit better. At least it's in my favor. Wouldn't mind seeing Iceman in action, since I haven't unlocked him yet. Okay, so Widow went. Yeah, so she got 3 hits there. Or there was 3 hits between the two of them. I don't think that did much. I don't know if this is going to work against Maw. I don't know how good this is. I think he's got good focus, but I don't know if that immunity, if it's going to do anything. But yeah, I didn't think so. That was kind of wasted. Might have blinded Iceman. I wasn't paying attention. I was just kind of testing to see if that worked, but only kind of. I mean, I got what I was thinking about with Maw. I just shouldn't have even done that. I wasn't really that smart. Somebody said RTA is trash. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's not working the way they want it to. Just with the matchmaking and everything. But it needs to be, I mean, the sad thing is I'm going to be playing it regardless, but it would be a lot more fun if they fixed it and did it the right way. I really think that when they do the leagues, I think that'll improve everything. I think there's probably something in there that will make it fun. So that worked. Guess I can get these. Like there's somebody talking about that they don't want to pay the $20, and that's fine. I mean, I kind of like that my alliance is a good mix of. And there's a couple whaley people. I'm probably in that crowd, and then there's. Well, I don't really consider myself a whale, but there's some people that spend a good bit of money on the game or have in the past, and there's a good mix of people that are really passionately free to play. So it's kind of a good dichotomy of people, and it's interesting. But that's why I don't really like this alliance event. I just don't think that. I don't like that the participation is basically public. I just don't. I don't think that works for every alliance. That said, I don't know how easy. Like, I don't know if this will be easy or hard. Like, I don't know if once we start getting going, if maybe we get some of these and it's easier than we thought. But I think that the people in my alliance probably aren't going to go crazy on this. So, who knows? I've been streaming for about an hour and 20 minutes. I don't think I'm probably going to do a whole lot more. Probably be on later this weekend. Probably during the day, either Saturday or Sunday, and then probably one of the nights. But I don't know. We'll see if we stream or not. Anyway, you can follow me on social media. I've got an Instagram going and a Twitter page, and I talk about my team's progress. So you can check me out at Cincy Spidey on either Twitter or Instagram, and then I do post any streams that I do. I post them permanently then on YouTube, and you can find that at Jason Ballas. On the Jason Ballas section of YouTube, my channel. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Can't really get that out very well. Anyway, state of the game real quick. I know that, there's a lot of people that are very passionate about the direction that things are going right now, and, it could be better. I feel like that Scopely kind of needs to get out ahead of some of this stuff. There wasn't a blog post this week. I don't know if there technically is every Friday, but there's no blog post that I saw other than the new Mojo season going live. I just feel like they've got some issues that they really need to address, and I know that they do a video once or twice a year where they kind of talk about like the next 6 months, and it's kind of like a roadmap. I think that needs to come out here relatively soon, and I kind of think they need to let people know what their thought process or where they're going with the Doom raids is. I mean, I know that My Alliance couldn't do a Doom raid right now, even if they tried. We did try, we didn't get anywhere. But I've heard of people kind of ganging up as an alliance and going through one node, which I think is an interesting strategy, which actually kind of sounds a little fun, but I'm not sure that My Alliance is organized enough to do that. We're still trying to beat normal difficulty on U7. We've kind of agreed over the last week or so. It was actually something that I kind of kickstarted and didn't totally mean to start, but we kind of go all out on U7 raids on Sunday now. So this will actually be the second week for it. So we got about 90% of the way there, but we don't have quite a wide enough alliance. Again, we've got some free-to-play characters. We've got some younger, earlier game characters. And I don't know. I just hope they fix some of these issues. RTA needs a little bit of a rework. The Doom raids, I don't know that there's necessarily a problem with them. They just need to be, the communication needs to be different. There's a lot of, I know when you look in that, there's actually some enemy characters that are in Gear Tier 16, which isn't even out yet. So they kind of, seems like maybe they released it a little bit too early. It's just not meant for the average alliance, I don't think. So I think they were looking to appease that upper echelon of character or player, and probably are going to do that. But it didn't really look like the rewards were all that good either. Did get those armory rewards, Gear Tier 15 and 16, but Gear Tier 14 and 15, but it didn't look like you got all that many pieces. So yeah, I mean, it's incrementally better than what they would be getting if they weren't doing that, but the rewards didn't look that great. So, the Doom raids, RTA, these events, I don't really like the spending cores thing. I know that they've got to try something new and different. Maybe it won't turn out to be as bad as what, people are kind of thinking. I think people kind of see spending cores and kind of automatically assume it's going to be a bad thing, but I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, love the game. I just hope they fix some of the issues. But until next time, have a good one.